Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode of Bitcoin Trade here, I got some news update. Um, if you recall, I made a trade on localbitcoins.com, and it was a wire transfer trade, basically online, pretty much blind. Um, and I got one trader, literally a trader, who decided for one reason or another, or through some fraud, um, I I had to the wire was reversed. Now, normally, if you're a criminal, you're pretty much screwed. But since I'm a legitimate operating, I don't want to even say mining rig. I could say I'm a legitimate operating miner. I guess you could say that. You're a legitimate operating miner under some definitions with the new clarification on the guidelines. Um, I, uh, I took a loss for the most part. And so in order to take a loss, I mean, you got to do all the things that a regular business would do, which would mean file a police report. And on top of that, I mean, if you really want to, if you are legitimate and the other person or persons on the other end is fraudulent in any way, I mean, uh, or I mean, it could be a possibility that somebody's identity was compromised on the other end. That's always possible, but in any case, I need to first report to the police, whoever your local authority is, that there was a business transaction done, and somebody did not complete on their business transaction. Now, if you use localbitcoins.com, I don't know if there's any legal, um, if we could apply this into a court of law, but there was things that were written back and forth, communicated, and a receipt. Everything was done, as recorded, and then blockchain would probably confirm all that. And so, um, there's some investigations that's basically gonna happen. There's got to be. Um, anyways, I hope somebody investigates. All I need is just the claim, and then just the paperwork, a case number or something, and then I can just write it off as a loss. All right, so it's not a big deal, and plus it was a gain bitcoins on top of that. So either way, I could write it off against anything. Not only that, any starting business really doesn't make any money. So you can actually show a loss for the probably about 3 years, and you can carry that loss over. That's why I say about 3 years. So you can carry that loss over from the past 3 years, I believe. I'm not sure. You should talk to your accountant, but um, you know, you can carry those, and that's where the tax shelter sort of comes in, especially for unemployed people. You don't have to be incorporated or anything. I mean, you just start going at this right away, and it's just self-employed. But then you start getting that little those losses. You can carry into next year, and then if you did make any money, or if you did realize any money, well, you can actually write it off against previous year's losses, right? You can carry that over. And you get a little shelter right there. And in the end, I mean, you put money into it, you're just getting money out of it. So you're just recouping your original principle of operating that business. So, that's completely fair. Anyways, I just want to give you an update on that. And of course, if you've seen my previous episode, I said I I made a report to the FBI, and you can do that if you're legitimate. All right, criminals can't do that, unfortunately, and money launderers can't do that either. So um, basically, I finally got a case number. I went back to the website and updated my complaint and added uh, the case number, the address, the phone number, everything. So uh, I'm hoping somebody over there isn't falling asleep in front of a computer. Hopefully this thing's going off. Anyways, that's the update on that. So it's kind of fitting that I start off with this article. People can't convert their Bitcoin to cash, and they're pissed. Of course, you all know I've already kind of addressed this, and guess where? Guess where? Users of Mt. Gox, the biggest Bitcoin exchange. I don't know if that's true anymore, but say they're being locked out of their accounts, and it's a very interesting article. And so, I did have somebody warn me, and I did an episode on that they would. I don't know if they'd go out of business, but um, you know, of course, this isn't too surprising for me anyway. And if you're like me and you're a legitimate business and everything, getting an apostle is not a problem. It just costs a little bit of money because that stamp, that stamp, that sanction from the government. You're real. It costs a little bit of money, but I'm willing to pay for that because that would allow me, hopefully, if I ever wanted to, ever withdraw money. But I'm not sure if it's due to regulations or if Mt. Gox is just burning money. I've all told you my theory that Mt. Gox is just taking your money and burning it, and you'll never ever see that money ever again. But that's okay. I knew that when I went there to go trade at Mt. Gox. It's just a trading platform. That's all it is for me. So, anyway, let's go on some other headlines here. Let's see here. What are some other headlines that I saw? Okay, so here's the thing about wire fraud. So my complaint to the FBI and to the police was that we both parties had an agreement for an exchange of bitcoins and money. Now, if we just exchanged bitcoins, it wouldn't be a problem. Bitcoin for Bitcoin, whatever. I mean, if the guy wanted to sell me 2 bitcoins for my 1 bitcoin, I'd take that all day, and this wouldn't be a fraud. But here it is. I looked up some wire fraud, and here's what it says: any fraud by wire, radio, or television. I mean, wire fraud is basically anything that you communicate electronically or a radio frequency, television. I mean, internet, phone call, wiring money. Okay, when I said wire fraud, I thought maybe it would just mean wiring money, but it talks about a lot of things, so it's very broad. Let me see here. Let's have a look at another one. There's some wire frauds. I mean, if you look it up, elements of wire fraud, it's very broad, and it literally encompasses anything that you would do over the internet is literally wire fraud. If you make a claim that this pill makes your penis grow 10 times larger, well, if that's not true, you committed wire fraud. I'm assuming. I mean, from what I'm reading here, it sounds like, I don't know the exact definition of the law, but I'm just reading from my research here, and basically if you're fraudulent and you use any means of communication to promote that fraudulent claim, that's essentially wire fraud. Kind of weird. Sending money to someone and claiming fraud to have it sent back to you just because you send it electronically is wire fraud. Maybe I'm stretching it. I don't know, but this could be explored for maybe some law enforcement or FBI or NSA, DEA, what else? Secret Service, IRS. I mean, boy, if you've been reading all the news lately, they're all kind of, how can I explain this? They're all chomping at the water. Not chomping at they're all chomping at the heels of something. I mean, all the government regulators are looking for something they can use. They're all finding a way. So there are some ways here. And these are already existing laws, and they can totally be applied to Bitcoin, because if Bitcoins become money, and it's gonna be hard, but you send money, It's mostly going to be for the victim, because criminals don't send you Bitcoin and then take off. All right, honest people who are in a legitimate business send people Bitcoins, and then those people take off, or those people send you money, and then you send them Bitcoins, and they'll try to wire fraud, okay, and try to get back the money. But since you're legitimate, you can make a claim. Now, chances are you may not see the money, but if people are found guilty of this, let me see, what are the consequences? Because it's so broad, and it used to be, let me see, let's see here if anything goes out here. Okay, let me see here where, okay, there's one that says here, or imposed not more than 20 years. 20 years. And then on top of this, they look at the bottom part, says if this was any fraud committed during an emergency, like a major declaration of major disaster, you know, like a hurricane or something, and you commit fraud through whatever emergency relief, they'll give you even more. They'll say, look at that, you'll be fined $1 million, and then on top of that, 30 years or both. So these are not lightly committed crimes here. These are they're white collar crimes, but at the same time, you know, I guess if you're going to do it, go gung ho and you know, fraud $1 billion and spend it real quick, because you're going to go away for a long time. Let me see. Elements of wire fraud directly. Okay, here's the one. Elements of wire fraud under whatever this section directly parallel those of mail fraud statute. And I guess that makes a lot of sense, because before television and whatever, radio and internet and all that, I guess people used the U.S. Postal Service to send their goods, and to some extent, some people still do. All right. So, for example, like if you've seen the previous episode, someone sold some fake IDs. Well, how do they send it? They send it by mail. So, just that act alone, you're committing another kind of fraud, mail fraud. And one thing I learned from my experience with identity theft is, especially, you know, they're trying to get credit cards. Well, how do they get the credit cards? They'll try to get it from a credit card company, and how do they send it? Through the mail. So just that act alone, you're committing mail fraud, which is completely very similar to some of these you know, rules here. But nowadays, I guess some people go around the whole mail fraud by just getting the card number, and then they make a card. Literally make a card. They have a card reader and all that stuff. They literally make a card, and of course, people already know that, right? So you don't even, there's not too many mail frauds going on anymore, other than maybe mailing fake IDs or drugs over the mail, which can be easily scanned and looked into. So anyways, so that's where a lot of the fraud originally happened, and that's why they mirror a lot of the mail fraud statutes. It's just being applied to now television, radio waves, making a false claim on radio, making a false claim on television, making a false claim on your website. I mean, making a fraudulent claim using the banking system to wire money and then claim fraud, or even the act of taking over someone's account to wire money. You know, whatever it is, it falls under wire fraud. And yeah, you can get, you know, just like who is that guy, that Sherm guy, that was charged for money laundering. You know, it doesn't take much. You think it's a couple keystrokes, and boom, you thought you committed the perfect crime, but you got to realize this happens all the time. And the reason why people get caught is because when you do something like this, there's always a physical trail that's left behind, and that that trail leads back to you. So be very careful for people who may get caught up in this on the wrong side. Like, in other words, if you try to commit this crime, I would not recommend it, because it's other than the severe punishment they can give you for doing something like this, it's not really worth it. So a lot of work and effort put into for criminals to try to make money. I don't understand why they even bother. They should just, that much talent and effort is wasted. So anyways, that's kind of what I want to talk about this issue, or not this issue, this episode in particular. And there's some other definitions of wire fraud, stuff like that. Oh, hello. And so let's go. I guess that concludes this episode. I won't do a chart analysis. I'm a little preoccupied here. But here's the article for the most part. People can't convert their bitcoins to cash, and they're pissed. So, well, I'm still going to go for my Apostle. I mean, they can't complain. They can't say no. I don't know what the problem is. Then again, I never tried to take money out, but maybe I will. I'll try. I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll try first without the Apostle, and then I'll get the Apostle, and then I'll try again and see what happens. As far as Bitcoins, I don't know if they froze the Bitcoins or if they froze trading, but it's always been rumored that it's always been hard to get money out. But remember what I said, I'm not in it for the money, and if you guys are in it for the money, you are definitely on the wrong side of the trade on this one. But if you've been watching my videos, you realize you don't need money anymore. You really need you need to buy more Bitcoins. So anyways, thanks for watching, and please comment, like, dislike, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.